Is this one? Mic check. Mic check. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna start this again. Today's Dunya stream, we've got a guest. We have Paal in the house. I'm gonna start off with one of his latest tunes that is out at the moment called Starlight. We're gonna hear this and then we're gonna get into the conversation. Keep it locked until 7 o'clock and enjoy.
From the heavens, and now I'm levitating. The devil's dancing on your shoulder, but these might be the evils. Jealousy and deceit never ends well. To a downfall in this cold, cold world. We can turn it on ourselves. Hear me? Don't you wanna fight against them? Love is my only one system. Tell me what's the mission? Whoa, tell me what's the mission? From the heavens, and now I'm levitating. Keep your eyes on. The devil's dancing on your shoulder, but these might be the evils.
On now. Mic check.
Mic check. A 2 and a 3.
I'm gonna bring it down to 3 to be honest. Mic check.
You got your headphones.
I'm gonna be okay for now because I trust Naomi. Shout out to everyone that's locked in to our Dunya stream. This is a bit different. We've normally got a DJ or two behind the decks, but this time we're doing a bit of a chit chat. I have Paal here with me.
What up?
And we're going to be talking about some of his latest releases, what he's been doing for the past few years, why he's been gatekeeping this voice from us, and a bunch of other things. Behind us, you're going to hear a bunch of beats and a bunch of unreleased tunes. Paal sent me a folder of about 50.
Close. I don't know. It was a lot. I was trying to be like, oh, she'll like this, I guess.
And I definitely did. There was about 50 tunes and there was a Spotify playlist of other people's tunes to put on to kind of decorate the sound behind us. And I was like, we don't need anybody else's music because Paal has got so much of his own.
Got so many folders. I don't know what to do.
So if you hear a beat in the background that you like and it's not been out anywhere, then I would definitely DM Paal and kind of demand making that, getting that out.
Yeah, no free beats. You're right now.
But yeah, Dunya is about showcasing different people. It doesn't matter what you do creatively. It doesn't matter where you're from. But there's a lot of people who look like us or from the kind of backgrounds that we're from. And we're doing very different things. It's not just Punjabi music. It's not just Bollywood or whatever.
Definitely.
Definitely not. Paal is the complete opposite of any of those things.
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
pretty much, man.
And I'm pretty sure a lot of us on Dunya are very much the opposite of what you'd expect when you see us. So we're gonna dive deep into who Paal is, what he brings, who he wants to work with soon, who he's already been working with. He's got some crazy stuff in the works that I'm very excited for. And yeah, we're gonna get into the conversation. I'm just gonna load up another track. I'm gonna start on a lower BPM so we can just get into it.
You take it away.
Yeah. I'm not gonna do any blending because I can't multitask that much at all.
Hey, sometimes you don't need to. You know what it is. You just roll with the punches.
This one that's coming up is Motions. Do you know when you made this?
This is off the new beat tape with L Train called Trinkets, out everywhere. I think this was made last year. I think we made a lot. So. It was hard.
It's called Motions version 2, so I'm sure there's plenty of other versions that have been in motion at some point.
Pretty much.
Paal is a name that I've been aware of for about, when was lockdown?
50,000 years ago into the past now.
About lockdown, when everyone was doing Twitch streams, because there was a whole bag of DJs who had nowhere to perform.
Yeah.
Everyone was streaming on Twitch. I'm a big Selection name, if you know that name. A big Selection head, if you know that name. I really fuck with Complexion Show, the Future Beat Show, people like Sean Grant. A lot of these people were on Twitch, on Mixcloud, I think, wasn't it, during lockdown?
Mixcloud was a thing, and SoundCloud as well, like just doing all of the websites.
And then after hours, we'd be tuned into the US show, Selection be on about 2-3 in the morning, and all of us creatives that have no routine clearly would be up, awake, tuned in the, it's called a chat box, isn't it, on one of those streams, in the chat box, and we'd all be talking, and I'd see this name that'd be Paal Singh, and I'd be like, which Singh is in the chat box chatting to me?
Which Asian brother is this? Where is he from?
Guy?
Is this in India? Is he trying to scam us? What is he doing, man? Why? Why are you here, bro?
Who allowed him in?
Yes.
And I would just see his name, and people seemed to know who he was, and I didn't come across his name again for a while, and then I tapped into people like D Don't Care, K Caleb, the local producers that are attached to Selection, and then Paal's name started to come up again, and since then I think we've been in the same rooms when there's been events on the Bronx.
Multiple like times where it's like neighborhood or like just here and there, just seeing each other. Like even online, you just like bump into like the algorithm just kicking stuff again and again. It's like you're there. Yeah,
that invisible string theory's been working overtime, definitely. And then we've kind of come across each other on social media, and a lot of people have been resharing Paal's stuff recently because he's decided to stop being a producer, only a producer, and get on the mic himself.
Don't know why I would do that. Get on the mic himself and give us some vocals. Yeah. And he's got the production credits for a lot of local artists that are up and coming in Birmingham, with some crazy BBC endorsed work. Paal's name has been attached to it. So we're here now, and we're going to talk about a bit of his and what's coming up. But I'm going to hand it over to you. What was even the first question? I don't want to ask you who you are because that's the hardest question to ask. Who am I? Like that's always the question. Who am I?
Are you Paal Singh right now, or are you Paal Ultra? And what's the difference?
Paal Ultra is like supposed to be like the I don't know, the next version of something. It's like the persona, but Paal Singh is who I am as like the person who you get everything from. So it's a weird thing. Like I tried to get the name on. I had the name Paal Singh on Instagram, but some guy in India took it, and I was like, I can't go back to Paal Singh now, and I hate doing the Paal Singh _ or something. So I was like, you know what? Let me just think of something, and I had
ignoring
Ultra.
all of us lot with underscores in our names because it's the only way that we get an app. But yeah.
Names, bro. Everyone's just the same. But yeah, the Paal Ultra thing was like, I always wanted to attach something that was bigger than something, like I just looked into cool words and I thought Ultra was great because in Latin it means beyond. So I was like, Paal Beyond. I would have done Paal Beyond, but I was like, that's a bit too like, what? So that is why it's just on Instagram. It's Paal Ultra. But
when I saw Paal Ultra, I thought of, is it Nostalgia Ultra?
I mean, that's not a bad kind of, that's in good company, but I was just like, I had the Ultra thing like just there, and then I was like, I'm just gonna stick it on. But then people start comparing it. It's like, oh, is Ultra like Denzel Curry? I'm like, no, Denzel Curry came later on with Ultra Ground. But yeah, it's just one of those things, you make a decision and you're like, cool.
Okay.
It's like Childish Gambino. That man got his name from a Wu-Tang Clan generator.
Talking of Childish Gambino, is it
segue?
This one, this side. I love this.
Yeah, this song is insane.
Someone made a mess of my cone. Sound like me, yes. Someone bought a paddock in a panic, yes.
Oh, I thought he was gonna just start something.
Oh no, I'm singing this song because like when this album came out, it was like he released this in COVID and it was just like supposed to be unmixed. And I was like, oh, this sounds great. What do you mean unmixed? So I was just like, don't know why I would say that, but it was just like one of those things. Hearing the album, like, you know, the different soundscapes, and this is why I love Childish Gambino. Man just has everything. He has songs, he has raps, he has Awaken My Love and Redbone. I'm like, what else do you need from this guy? A TV show, films. This man is Yoshi in the new Super Mario film. What else? What else?
That Spotify playlist that you sent me, this was the only Childish Gambino song that I saved out of it. So yeah, that says everything.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about what's already coming up for you, and then maybe we'll go back a little bit, and then we'll dive into your process, your inspiration, and then anything else coming up after that. But you just posted something on Instagram before we got here.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, of course. So there's a song that should be releasing on April the 10th called To Be Honest. Just shot a bunch of like content. I am trying to get into creating more editing, so it is long, so bear with me. But yeah, I shot a small little video on there. I'll post some more stuff, but you can, you know, tune in and see what I'm gonna be doing. There's gonna be more songs and stuff, but that is the start of just like me putting my face out there and actually being in videos and stuff, and like, hey, every second of it, because I'm an introvert. I'm just kidding. But it's a nice kind of, you know, thing to do. So yeah, the natural progression.
And is that one of yours? Is that your vocals on that?
Yes, but that will be my vocals. Yes.
Is this one of the first things that you're dropping that's purely you? Start to finish?
Well, Starlight is the first thing I dropped, which I was gonna shoot something for, but I was like, I don't have anything to shoot for, so I was like, couldn't really put the time into it. But this is the first thing that's like got a small visual attached to it, and then moving forward, I'm gonna try and have like a bunch of full music videos if possible, because man, do I hate editing, but also love it at the same time.
So it's very easy for us to get into this conversation and kind of gloss past about 90% of what Paal does and can do, but production was your main starting point.
Music production was the main thing. It was like, oh, this is what I like. As a kid, it was always a thing of liking like how sound, and it sounds weird, liking how sound sounds. I don't know if that sentence is gonna hit or whatever.
It makes sense in this room.
It makes sense in this room, right? So that was the thing, and then I just naturally started to gravitate towards like breaking things down. I'm like, oh, what is this? What is this? This is a synth, this is a bass or something. So I always had this curiosity, and plus like my mom could sing, and my dad's like, you know, a creative person. He's a retired author. So all these things were just like creatively there, and then I just found music side of it, and I think the production was like the most fascinating thing then, and then it just like got to this point, and now I'm just singing for some weird reason.
Okay, so before production, do you play any instruments?
I play nothing.
Okay.
No, I could dabble. I could just sit on the keys and like find a chord, but I think more of it's just like ear training and, you know, understanding like your taste is there. As long as you know what sounds good, you can kind of like take it from there if you're like curious enough, like I said.
And so from production, I know that you do your own editing, color grading, the creatives, you can't be a creative unless you're doing everything, mix mastering as well.
Yeah, all the stuff I do, like release with people especially, it's just like I wanna handle it because I like the way it sounds, because there's a thing where like the industry mixes are like, they're too plain, man. Stop doing things in mono and all this weird non-stereo stuff, man. Like, make it have character, you know. You don't want it to sound just bland, man. Have some character to it. Like, that's what it is. Like, you know, learn a bit and then just like take pride in the weird mix. If the kick is too hard, I'm sorry. It's gonna be too hard.
That's how you know he's a nerd when it comes to music, in a good way. Okay, so production as well as all the other add-on sides, and now vocals.
Yes.
Has there been something in between that got you from one end to the other? Or?
I don't know. Doing witchcraft at this point. I mean, it sounds like witchcraft anyway, because we're just bending air, like music producers are doing that. It's out of nowhere, right? So, but it's always just been music, like going from the music production side, learning about melody, and then getting curious about songwriting in that kind of sense, and then how to like vocally produce. So whenever I was in like sessions with people, I would always get to a point where I'm like, oh, try this, try that, because I can hold a note, but then I wasn't very confident with singing. I'm not as not confident even now, but it's just like one of those things where you get to a point where you can start experimenting and being comfortable with your voice. So it was music production to like vocal production to be like, oh, let me sing a couple of songs, and you see what you see, and that's how it kind of came about.
Okay, so we're talking about production, and we'll talk about who else you've been producing for. Before that, I'm going to play
Diva.
Do you want to introduce it before I play it?
So this is Diva by K. Smiles and me, and this is a banger, and this is one of the best songs I've ever made, but please enjoy.
I saw her, the mama dancing, drink off the porn star, feel like she strike me just like a cobra, well if I strike, I lace it Ronaldo, hips in the waistline, out of control, won't be surprised if man are out the door, waiting in line just to get a wine, man, you know I got work in the morning, can't dip too soon, I'm out late with you, so back home with warnings, missed all of that, I'm blind like a bat, just text say you want me, well girl, so we're here right now, like it's my last night in town, ain't a thing to show man round track, shy when I know you ain't shy.
Her she's too much, I should keep her, she ain't nothing but my little diva. Her she's too much, I should keep her, she ain't nothing but my little diva, diva, my ain't but my little diva. Her she's too much, I should keep her, she ain't nothing but my little diva, my ain't but my little diva. Her she's too much, I should keep her, she ain't nothing but.
Check. That was
Diva by K. Smiles and me.
Do you want to talk about that one?
Yeah, that shout out to K. Smiles, man. One of the best in the city, one of the best in the country. This man, when we linked up, like we've known each other for a long time, but we never had like that chance encounter. We're like, oh man, we need to like make something. Let's figure out a day. It was just like I'll see him at some party. I'll see him at I remember seeing him at Sipo's listening party for his album drop, and I was like, oh man, we should do something. And that was like the day we first booked like the pirate session. I was like, all right, let's try and make something. And from there on, it was just like, how did we not meet each other before, man? Like what the hell? Well, everything just blends so well. We come up with ideas, make stuff, and everything just sounds like something so different. And that's the one thing I like about like working with artists, when they trust the process, trust the producer, and then they sit with it and like, yeah, this sounds crazy.
When did this one come out?
This one came out, if I don't remember, I'm gonna say November last year. I might be wrong because there's been a lot of releases, so I should forgive myself. And sorry, Chaos, I don't remember. But yeah, we made this very quickly because he was because sometimes when we work he'll have like drums or have like a bass line or some ideas. I just sit there and kind of just contemplate. I'm thinking, where should we take this? What should we do? And then I get experimental with it because you can hear like the crazy bass sounds and like the industrial kind of sounding, the Yeezus influence. A lot of my sound is like that, so it's just gonna be craziness here and there. And then we have other things that are like very cinematic. So there's gonna be a time where we release this, and I can't wait for people to hear what we have in store. It's just like I just this might be the perfectionist in both of us, where we're like, we need to wait for the perfect time to drop the rest of the things. But shout out to KS, man. He's one of the best.
You want to take a sip out of your Red Bull? Because I think you were going to. I just said when we were off stream that the BPM of this conversation is going to go about 10 BPM now.
10 BPM. Now we're just going like 200. So.
Okay, so you've been active for a while, and now you're at a point where you're in control of the studio. Everyone trusts you in the room.
Yeah.
You got the vocals to outdo the artist if you really want to.
I mean, one day. I don't know.
And so this has come out last year, and you're at. It feels like now you're at like. It probably feels like this for a while, but it feels like now you're like right on that cusp.
Yeah.
We caught him before he blows up and then just fucks off and then just leaves us here and pretends he doesn't know where Birmingham or Dunya is. Like,
no, what is Dunya, bro? I don't know. What is this Dunya? Huh? It's all crazy.
Literally. So that's come out. It's been like a few different releases that came out last year and the beginning of this year. Where did that sit based on where you are now at this point?
Which song were you? Diva.
Because I heard Diva, and when I heard it, I was just like, whoa. And then I was like, whoa, this came out of Birmingham.
From Birmingham?
It came out. This came out of Birmingham, and this is something that I would have probably have lost my mind hearing on like a Complexion stream or something a couple of years ago. And you working with L Train and knowing you via L Train makes complete sense as well. There's definitely that cosm of sound that exists. We were talking about Digital Mozart earlier, and I feel like he sits in that as well. There's a very future electronic sound that we've been trying to find for a good few years, and I feel like you nailed it with this one. What were your influences for sound for this one?
For sound, for this one, like particularly that one was because the drums are very like Afro, right? So it was like, okay, now let's add the bass line, let the bass line do its thing, and then just go into something weird with more synths and like industrial sounding, like yells in the background and sound effects. And I just wanted to make it, had like this vision for it for like a video where it would be like a warehouse. Okay. We don't have the budget yet, but hey man, we don't have the capacity.
We got Digbeth around the corner though, so
maybe in the future. But that was just like how I like thematically approached it, and like that's how it looks in my head. So this is how it's gonna sound in my head, and that's how it just came out. And then there was a crazy outro that we just didn't use because it was a little bit too crazy. It went from that to like Baile Funk and then back to that. I was like, oh, maybe this is too much.
Immediately I want the outro.
I'll give you you'll get the exclusive. It's just that. It's just insane. But it was like, maybe for a remix.
I mean, I'm sure there's a few of us that want that.
Everybody was.
Okay, so that came out last year alongside a few other releases with other local people you've worked with, people like Sanity.
Yeah.
Do you want to speak about anybody
Go Higher.
else?
Sanity. Every time me and Sanity link up, it's like, there's always like, we've had time to process like life and like other music stuff, and then when we connect, it's like, all right, now we're in this mode, we need to make something that like solidifies this time. And this like perfect thing when we were in the studio talking about life and where we want to take music, what the inspiration was. We were heavily into like Alchemist and like all that sample based stuff. And I remember just having that conversation like, oh, let's just go into this and make something that's gonna think people like, where the hell did he get the sample from? Not a sample, I made it all by scratch. But that was the whole thing of like, now let's just go back to boom bap or something that feels classic, and that's the sound of it. And then just where we were at life, we were like, we just want to take it to the next step, and that's how Go Higher kind of came about, I think, with lyrics.
And I feel like, what was your reaction to this with Sanity? Because I actually know Sanity. Sanity is the reason I'm a DJ. Sanity was hosting the DJ course that I did a few years ago. To see her come round and that be with yourself, that was just like, whoa, okay. Birmingham's even smaller than I thought. What was your reaction to that, like that locally, and then also wider afield?
Yeah, it was the thing with like Sanity is whenever there's stuff to work on, she always trusts like the sound that I have, and then it's like that's why she comes to me and be like, hey man, this is what we kind of want to work on. What do you have? So like we just take it from there, and the next part of it is just figuring out more things and whatever the next thing is gonna be. But we've got some more plans. I'm just like trying to have like the perfect outlook of when we should drop this and like get into the space and with that. But the reaction was it was featured on what was it, not BBC or something, it was a podcast or something that was it was on I don't remember what it was. It was with something with the Going Higher with Romesh or something, and it was featured on like British Airways and like something. It was on a podcasting, so we had like a good I don't know, like kind of a sync thing, but it was like you could, if you were flying on British Airways and KLM, you could like hear us on the podcast.
That's crazy.
That was a crazy thing that came out.
To British Airways and KLM, that's crazy. You can't say shit about Birmingham when this is the stuff that's coming out.
We were doing it, man. We were doing it, so it was nice to see kind of like that reaction, and they just getting airplay on, literally airplay in the skies, man. So that was like
I did
wonderful.
not know this information when I just asked that question. So yeah, I guess that worked out perfectly.
That was pretty
and
sick.
I guess, and I'm assuming Sanity's probably a bit closer to age and as us too. She's a little bit older, isn't she?
I think she's around like same kind of.
And we're, without giving it away, we're not in our 20s anymore.
We're not in our 20s.
And I think as Paal is talking about
secretly 89.
Stop it.
Stop.
He's talking about the kind of trust that he's garnered as a producer, and again, that comes with age, that comes with time, that comes with iterations over iterations over iterations.
That comes with being a listener, guys.
That comes with realizing that the weird and wonderful sounds that you like, other people like them too.
Yes.
And it sounds like, and it's what we're doing as well. The spaces that we want to be in don't exist, so we got to create them. The people that we don't get to hear anymore, we got to find them.
Yeah.
And
find the weirdness.
We found him. He's
Become
here.
the weirdness.
He's here. I don't have the Sanity tune, but it's gorgeous, and we will share that on socials afterwards, so please check that out. That's called Go Higher.
Go Higher.
Ella Moore?
Ella Moore, crazy talent. I was literally in the studio with her yesterday.
Do you want to explain who Ella is if anybody doesn't know who she is?
Ella Moore is a fantastic singer. She's from Birmingham. I think she's in London, or she comes back every now and then, but she is probably like, I think one of the best in the... I'm going to keep saying this, so everything you say is just like, it's going to be facts. She's one of the best in the country.
Anyone from Birmingham is the best thing that you've ever heard or not heard.
Like, this is just me putting people onto people I care about a lot, because they're just insane. So yeah, Ella Moore, R&B, and there's like, she has such a fantastic sound. The way she like just holds, like, I don't know what it is. Her presence on a song is like, you get like entranced, man. You just like listen to it, and it's like so cinematic. She's got crazy visuals, and just like the whole thing is like, she's definitely up next. So it's just I'm grateful to be around these people and just be like a part of their sound in a way. Like, let's just work on something. I'm like, cool. Let this crazy guy into the studio. You know what? So it is what it is. So we've got like a bunch of stuff that we're like currently creating and stuff, but I've done a recent remix that came out, Twisted Game, and that's on Bandcamp. I think it should be on Spotify soon. If it's not, then you can check out Bandcamp. But yeah, that was a remix that she had a single called Twisted Game, and then she was doing the whole thing of just get remixes out, and I was like, can I do a remix? And then yeah, that remix came out. But more songs on the way in the future. But currently, her new song "Sweet Rose" is out. Go check that out. It's insane. Yeah, I love Ella, man. She's crazy.
Anyone else you want to name check that you've already worked with?
At this point, we've got two. Let me get my Rolodex. No. I mean, shout out to anyone, man. Anyone, the Wanderer from Wolves, not from Birmingham.
Wolves on the map.
From Wolves, because he would kill me if I said that. Yeah, we had a bunch of songs where there's a bunch of songs in the works, and it's gonna come out when it comes out. But we have New Whip, Who This, that came out I think last year. My memory is bad because I don't know half of these the release dates. But yeah, we've had more relationship like even outside of music. We just like hang out, stuff, play video games, and it's just, you know, he's like a brother to me. So it's like it's one of the best things in music when you can have that. But yeah, hopefully more music on the way. He's got a song called The Call for Nancy that's out as well. I didn't produce that, it was all him, but yeah, he's a mad talented guy. Trying to get some stuff with a bunch of people. Hopefully, maybe in the future, man, a song with Sipo. Because that would be insane. Like, I know, like, you know, he featured me on the Yearn FM thing. Because he's got new music out as well, so there's a lot of like local artists that like I love, man. So it's gonna be more stuff.
I'm just gonna switch the tune. That last one was Jaded. Not Jaded. It had no name on it, and then I listened through, and I was like, could this be called Jaded? What is that actually called?
Well, the song that's out.
I'll play it to you later. We'll work out which one it was.
I'm looking at so many songs just there.
So I guess you going from working with a bunch of vocalists, you've probably, I'm assuming, the trust is there, you're learning the process more, and now you're being like, oh, maybe singing like this. I'm guessing that's kind of push you towards your own vocals and like mutual validation and pushing each other in a studio setting. Is that kind of what that has been to get you to putting your own vocals out? I haven't told him, but he's gonna sing in a bit.
No, I haven't. No, I have not.
Has that been the process, or what's the process been? What has taken you from Paal, the producer, behind the scenes, who's downplaying everything that he does, to now in front of the mic, in front of the camera, doing it all?
I think it was going through life. Life will do that to you. No, I'm just kidding. As a producer, right, I was always like making stuff, and the ideas that come to you, I'm always like humming and stuff. So the vocal kind of, you know, the experimentation of the idea, like sing this way, that would be a nice melody, do that, do this. So going from that, from production, like making the stuff, being into sessions, kind of vocally producing people and telling them like try this and that, and then just, you know, they would hear it, things like, oh, this is nice, you can you know, sing a bit. Like earliest memory I remember is like when I had sessions with Maddie Saskia. Shout out Maddie Saskia, I love her. She was just like, why don't you sing, man? I need to hear you sing. And that was like probably the first time I was there thinking, that was just like the little brain, you know, light going off. And from there on, it was just naturally progressing into getting good at vocally producing people. And then slowly I had ideas and like started songwriting. And then I think I want to say August last year was the first time I recorded anything, and it was the first song. Fun fact: the first song that I recorded was, to be honest, the one that's gonna keep flipping this, bro. What the hell? That's the song I first recorded, and that's gonna come out April 10th. That was the very first song I recorded. I had that hook for 3 years. I was like, can I get comfortable with my voice? And I did. So yeah, you'll hear that. But that's been the process for that.
What? So I'm spiritual as fuck, and Paal there's a Punjabi background.
Yeah.
There's the vocals that come out of people. Well, Punjabi vocals they're a different source completely.
Oh yeah.
And also there's a whole different scale that comes to sound on that side. But I feel like it translates across really well into very non-Punjabi spaces and the kind of sounds that come out. There's a lot of vocalist artists that have existed over the past few years, and I've kind of looked at the name and I've looked at the sound, listened to the sounds, and I'm like, there's an Asian influence here, and I can't pinpoint it, but you can kind of hear the influence on the sound as well.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's something that is true to yourself? Do you feel like the vocals, like where have they come from? I've been calling him J Paal as a joke since he started dropping music, and for me to say that as a massive J Paul fan I would never say that about anybody.
I'm just gonna take over now. Sorry, Jay.
So my question is influence and inspiration for both your sound as a singer and going backwards towards as a producer. I guess those will be two very different answers.
I think being Punjabi and like hearing like all the Punjabi music and like a lot of Sufi music, like Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, like it's just, you can't really steer away from the musicality, right? So that's just gonna be there. And then hearing Bollywood music, all of that, we're just very melody rich like culture in a way, so that has already stayed. And I think that translates well to like when I start singing, it was always about have melodies, have harmonies and stuff, and you know, it was just gonna happen naturally. Even when I'm making music, I want to make something that's memorable, because you can have loud drums, which is great, because you know that's the essence of hip hop and rap and R&B even. But with melody, that has to come from like something that's, you know, within, I guess. I don't know, because even shout out Michael Burt. He told me one time like you're really good with melodies, and that was the thing where I understand. Okay, now that has to be something that's somewhere from somewhere, right? So I give that to Punjabi music and like me being Asian, I guess, to a degree, because we are very melodic in that sense. Like even like Punjabi is very romantic in a way. So I think that does hold weight as far as overall music goes. So yeah, that is present.
Has any of the sounds that you've grown up with, wherever you've grown up, because I know it's not just in Brum, has that also influenced the production as well?
Yeah, I mean, going back to like me being in India, like I've lived there, and it was just why all the people used to be like, why you listen to Kanye West? What is this Western music? I'm like, hey man, just let me do my thing, bro. Let me just listen to this, you know. And then
you were doing Kanye in the pen.
No, I was listening to Kanye. I was listening to Graduation, and these guys were listening to Lembar Hussain Puri. I'm like, bro, I love him too.
The duality of the dunya, bro.
Exactly, the dunya just like revolves around it, and everyone was like, why you listen to this, man? Nobody understands it. I'm like, so that's how you grow, bro. And then yeah, I was always trying to find something different. Like there's that always stayed, and you know, I kind of transferred into every different like areas where, or from different areas where I would listen to like, okay, I have, you know, we have Kanye West, this Pharrell and everything, Dr. Dre. But then you take influence from like movies and like, you know, film scores, and even like video games. So like it was just, I always wanted to like expand the taste palette, and that was the thing.
And I guess you've mentioned cinematography a few times when it comes to your sound, and I think even the visuals that have been attached to your sounds as well, and you've said like color grading and stuff like that. Are there any specific scores that have kind of grown with you? Is there anything recent that's come out that's kind of been like, whoa?
Recently, well, sometimes I go on walks, right, and then I'm just listening to the Batman soundtrack, or I'm listening to like the Interstellar soundtrack. Everything that's very cinematic, spatial, and has like space in it for it to kind of, for you to think. I always like appreciate that.
Is that how you escape Birmingham?
Yes, and by running as well. So like, I'm just running all the time. It's prevalent there, but there's more to learn from less in a weird way, because you know, it makes you think. Like it's not always busy. So like game soundtracks, movie soundtracks, there's a lot of space, and it's always evolving and stuff. So I think that really, if you're creative and then you want to think, that's how you would get to thinking.
And what you've just said about space, as I've become a DJ, I've definitely moved away from more of, let's say, the mellow kind of sounds to a lot of percussion heavy, a lot of electronic. I play a bunch of 140 in the past week. I've played drum and bass and a bunch of dubstep. But when I'm in rooms with other producers, I'm always kind of like, take 90% of what you've done out, and we need space in this. And a lot of people struggle to balance the concept of space, and then kind of might confuse it with silence, and yet you can add so much with the space. And I feel like the stuff that I've heard from yourself, it's kind of brought me back into that space again, and I think you do that quite well, and I guess that kind of ties in with the cinematography kind of aspect of sound as well. We got 10 minutes, but we were going to nerd out about Kendrick so far and a whole bunch of other stuff. Any of the things that we've spoken about so far, do they apply to any of Kendrick's discography that has directly influenced you? Maybe I'm a Section 80 person. I will listen to ADHD every day, all day long if I could. But in terms of space, he uses space very well in his sound as well.
I think with Kendrick is just like, you know, just like listening to like newer stuff, and then you know that time it was like, all right, who's like the crazy part? We had J. Cole, Drake, and Kendrick. Kendrick always just had this kind of way of storytelling and just being, you know, present with the music that just resonated more than anyone else. And I think it was just from I remember hearing Ignorance is Bliss and then going to Section 80, and I was just like, I'm sold, bro. Like whatever you're doing is just, you know, I'm gonna be a fan for life. And like that would be like, if I could ever have a, you know, future work with somebody, it would be Kendrick. Like that would be number one. But yeah, his the way he, you know, has like every album, like the conceptual wise, like, you know, it just sits well. So I think it's just like, how could you not be inspired by Kendrick, you know? And even as a producer, so like,
I guess Kendrick's he's definitely a Gemini through and through, and definitely a creative through and through with the amount of stuff he's doing. We've got less than 10 minutes. I'm gonna play a tune.
Yeah.
I was gonna play that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This one is called
Gym Body Remix.
It's a remix. Okay, so I'm gonna.
If I leave right now, I'm missing you. Boy, I wanna do the unthinkable. Can't lie. Strangers in a crowded room. Maybe you don't care, but I'd like you here. You're my autopilot. We can make it good, we can see me on the top of your hood, from. I can take it right there. I can take it right there. We can make it good, we can see me on the top of your hood, from. I can take it right there. I can take it right there. Round and one chest. Take your time, have you done this? Take it, do this often. Give it up to me, never stop it. Round and one chest. Take your time, have you done this? Take it, do this often. Give it up to me, never stop it. You're there, not here. Baby, still I want you. Any chance that I get, I wanna love ya. I don't fucking riddles, but I know that my body gon' tell you. Maybe you don't care, but I like you. Hey, you're my autopilot. We can make it good, we can see me on the top of your hood, from. I can take it right there. I can take it right there. We can make it good, we can see me on the top of your hood, from. I can take it right there. I can take it right there. Round and one chest. Take your time, have you done this? Take it, do this often. Give it up to me, never stop it. Round and one chest. Take your time, have you done this? Take it, do this often. Give it up to me, never stop it.
So we've got a few minutes remaining. We could probably talk for another 3 hours.
20 hours, yeah. It's just not non-stop. I'm doing a comedy set after this, guys.
One of the things I wanted to talk about was 500 beats. Oh. You got time to talk about 500 beats?
I mean, let's talk.
500 beats. Okay, so and before that, we were just talking about sound, space, influence, cinematography. Yeah. And I said on Spiritual as Fuck, there's a mindset that needs to exist for you to sit in front of a laptop and be a producer. Yeah. And then get your work out of there and fight through all of the imposter syndrome, let alone putting your face to something and then your voice to something. I don't know how you do it. I would be shitting myself.
Witchcraft.
But we're going to force him to do it even more regardless.
Send help.
Paal told me about, and some of these beats I'm assuming have come out of that process. Paal told me about a process where he was making 2 beats a day.
Yeah, 2
every day.
Yeah.
For how long?
For like 3 years.
Straight?
3 years straight. Some breaks, some days I'll take off. But hey, man, I was like,
I know man them that take 3 years to think of one beat and then leave it on their laptop and then never release anything. And so my kind of God-given talent in life is fighting with people to get those tunes out of their laptop and into the ethosphere, because like we just said, Wolverhampton and Birmingham are feeding half of the music industry anyway, like when it comes to the UK.
Pretty much.
And there's definitely something in the air here, so I feel like anyone that's got music, they need to bring it out. So when Paal said to me that I got this many beats sitting, and then he handed me a few of them, that excited me, because I'm like, okay, this is someone that's actually putting their shit out there. Do you want to quickly talk about that process and maybe things that you've learned and where you are right now?
Yeah.
And then we'll plug a few things that are coming up, and then we'll round it off with one of your tunes. And then
so the process is basically me trying to get better at making music, because I was whack before, right? So like it was just a self-criticism and kind of just like, I'm gonna take this approach, work at the craft and actually take it seriously. So like around COVID, it was just like the best time. So I was like, I'm just gonna sit here and do this. And when people are on Zoom calls playing pub quizzes, I'm just gonna work on beats, bro. And then I just I kind of like just took it upon myself, like I'm gonna be a bit hard on myself, and then just started to get better, because I don't think I'm talented. It's just hard work. Like I literally sat there and I was like, I'm gonna just go ham. And then throughout the years, that every single thing that came out, it was like because I was so persistent, and just like that was the process. Like having that work ethic is what separates greatness, and I'm like, that's the ultimate goal one day.
So you're great now?
No, I'm trying to get to that, guys. Hey, don't take it the wrong way. But that's the goal. For if you work on something, you'll get better. Basically, that's it. Just an obsession, kind of delusion.
Did it take you to any mad places? Did you put you in rooms with anybody crazy? I know you went to LA. That was a whole other conversation.
that was a whole trip. But like, it's just being good and like taking my craft seriously has led me to places, because I'm like, oh man, this is great. Like even with L Train, like if I didn't send him like a crazy drum loop, you're like, oh, who is this guy? Just a random ass guy. But when you hear this stuff, you're like, no, this is great. So it's just, if you something and you can find your people and then you work with them, they'll hear your work. You'll get into like even better places. So like there's some good cool things that are coming up, and that's only happened because I was so persistent. So
it takes 10,000 years, and I'm sure you're hitting that off now if you haven't already.
10,000, I'm basically
10,000 hours. Sorry, not years. Sorry, we ain't gonna be here in 10,000 years.
At this point, but I'm probably at like 7,000. I've still got a long way to go, because
I think he's downplaying it, but
no,
we'll get that out of him. What is coming up in the next few months or the rest of the year? Would you like to plug? Where do you want people to find you? You're on Bandcamp? So
you can find me like on Instagram, Paal Ultra, PAALULTRA. On every other music distribution site is Paal Singh, so PAALSINGH. So that's where the music's gonna be. But I'm just prepping a lot of releases, self-releases, and then hopefully align some more things with people, hopefully drop more songs with like Chaos and Sanity, and then just keep things rolling. So some big things.
Who are the 3 artists that we're going to see your name next to in the next 5 years?
Oh, I don't know.
That's a good question from me.
That's a good question. Who thought of that question? I don't know. It's like, fuck it. I'm just gonna say I would love to have a song with Kendrick. I'm just gonna say it. Kendrick, maybe even Kali Uchis for some reason, because I love her. Like R&B wise, she's like just the best. And I don't know if like Frank Ocean doesn't retire, maybe Frank Ocean. But no, these are like the far-fetched ideas. But I just know I'm just trying to dream big at this point. I don't know, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm gonna lay out.
And a lot of people that you guys have seen on DUNYA, a lot of people that you've seen on Sigil, and a lot of people that you've seen in the scene in Birmingham have been dreaming pretty big whilst putting the hours in, and that's why they are at the places that they are. I am very convinced that Paal is going to be unignorable in a very annoying way very soon, but for a good reason. Everything I've heard that's come out from Paal recently has just been something that the scene has been missing, whether that's in Brum or whether that's a bit further afield. And I would definitely recommend staying tuned into everything that he drops and everything that his name is attached to. We could have spoken for another 2-3 hours. It's the first time we've done something like this. So we've got
guys,
two
time's
yappers. Is that done? Is that Naomi? Oh, it's still going. Sorry.
Yappuccino
we're the Desi timing has happened today, and we've run over in true fashion.
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna cut it here.
Fade it out.
But thank you for coming through. Thank you for being our first host. Anyone that wants to work with Paal, he's right here. Find him. He's got beats ready, locked, ready to go. And yeah, is there any last things that you want to say?
Be kind to each other.
I'm gonna run this one again and then just let it finish. And we're handing over to Will. Will's joining in the next couple of minutes, and there's going to be a few more people left on Sigil. So keep it locked. There's nowhere else to be. There'll be tags and any tune suggestions that I've got from Paal on socials. So yeah, check that out over there on Instagram. And yeah, thank you for tuning in.